What tires did you run? That's such a huge topic of conversation at Unbound because of those crazy sharp rocks.
Yeah, that is probably the biggest conversation out there. I ran the Maxxis Ramblers, and I was very, very picky. I wanted to run the 60 TPIs because everything is so sharp out there with the Silk Shield. So I actually opted to run tire inserts front and rear this go around as well. And I brought probably a dozen Stan's Dart plugs with me that were within reach at all times.
Smart.
Yeah.
So the tire choice now, when you say 60 TPI, a lot of mountain bike tires tend to be somewhere around 120 TPI or 60 to 120. Mm-hmm. The lower that number, the less fabric it has and the more rubber it has. So it doesn't roll as well, but it's much more protective against flats. Yep. And you'll see like really high-end exclusive mountain bike tires that I'm so frustrated that us average Joes can't get, like 170 TPI, really, that's very little rubber and just a lot of fabric, and it rolls really fast, but it'll tear if you look at it wrong.
Yeah.
So in this case, you really erred on that side. You wanted to be really tough. And that silkworm, I think it's called, right?
Silk Shield.
Silk Shield.
Yep.
That's like sidewalls and the casing, everything has an additional layer of protection, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I actually brought a spare tire with me too, not just spare tubes.
Wow.
I brought a full spare tire.
Where did you pack that?
That was hilarious. So about a half hour before the start, Mary and I kind of freaked myself out, and I was going back on my decision to carry a tire. And in 2019, I started the XL and had to put the spare tire on about 20 miles in. And I was getting ready to ditch the tire out of the bottom of the frame bag closer to the bottom bracket. So trying to keep that really low. And Mary, my wife, saw me doing that. And she's like, nope, you are not doing that. We are going to spend the time now to make sure this fits. And I'm so happy that we did that.
Did you end up using it?
I ended up using that tire in the middle of the night. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, the flint rocks out there are on a nut. It's something like I've never seen before. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it really requires this paying attention to line choice and just trying to be light on the bike. But inevitably, everybody faces adversity out there, whether it's in the form of flat tires, other mechanicals, issues with the body, fueling, everything. So I just wanted to bring everything in case, worst case scenario.
So when you run inserts in there, were you running pretty low pressure because of the inserts, or what was your plan there? Because a lot of the time people think that lower pressure would be easier to flat, but it actually could be the opposite. What did you end up running?
I ran slightly higher pressure because my bike was weighed down so much with fuel, both liquid and solid food. So I ran 36 in the rear, 34 in the front, which is a lot higher than I normally run. And a little harsh, but the pivot vault has a damper in the seat tube. Also, I was running a Redshift suspension seat post and a Redshift suspension stem.
Smart.
And I couldn't have been happier with the selection on all that.
Yeah, those are they have built-in compliance into that seat post and that stem, right?
Yeah. And I run... The ISOFlex on the frame has a little give because there's a durometer in there already, which is super comfortable, even if you run a rigid post. But the seat post and the stem, what's really cool about those is you can change the compression on them. The stem basically runs on durometers. So I run the heaviest durometers possible as if I weighed like 250 pounds. So it only really takes the hard hit away. It's not really sagging or anything. And the seat post, the same thing. I turn the seat post in all of the way, so it just takes that edge off, which I was very grateful to have out there.
Oh, I bet after 22 hours of that. Yikes.
Yeah.
Going back to the tires, did you run 40s or 45s or what size?
40s. Yep.
40s.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then did you run Stan's race sealant or did you run the standard sealant?
We ran standard sealant for this one. And I also brought a spare tube of sealant with me.
Smart.
Yep.
Just in case, because if you get a big flat and a ton leaks out, then you're...
Yeah, exactly.
And no backup plan anymore.
Yeah. And before the race, Kenny Wen, who works for Stan's, we only live about 10 minutes apart. And we were really, really specific on the wheel choice that I was going to run for this event. And that's why I went with the 40s because I ran a crest hoop, a Stan's crest hoop, which is slightly wider than your typical gravel rim that they make. It's about 2 millimeters wider. So I did get a slightly larger footprint, meaning where you see the tire hit the ground, it kind of widens out by a little bit. And I was able to rely on those crests a bit more just because there's an extra layer of carbon there.
Smart. Yeah. So slightly wider tires is going to give you a little bit easier rolling over rocks and the constant undulations in the surface that you're dealing with. That probably helped a ton. It's clever. What sort of gearing did you run on the bike? That's another big topic of conversation because it's not flat. People think like Middle America, Kansas must be flat, but
I know.
Actually, do you even know how much you climbed over the course of this?
It was a little over 20,000 feet.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts out there. Everybody yeah, you're right. Everybody assumes Kansas is flat as paper, but I mean, there's really no sustained climbing out there, but it's just as undulating terrain. I went with my GRX Di2 setup with a double in the front, so a 4831, and then the rear I ran an 1134. So I had plenty of climbing gear, especially late at night when I wanted to spin a high cadence up there to save the legs. And then, yeah, plenty of gearing on those dirt roads to get in the 4811.
I think that's kind of smart. It's nice to have the 2x up front in this case with the tighter cassette in the back too, I would imagine, because since you're constantly dealing with undulations, I bet you shifted a ton, just nonstop. You were shifting, and having bigger jumps in between gears could be a pain to deal with. Absolutely.
And that's one thing that I pay attention to is trying to avoid climbing up those hills at like 55 RPM because you're just burning those muscle fibers that you're gonna wish you had at hour 16 or whatever. So trying to spin
16, it's crazy. Yeah.
Trying to spin a high cadence will save energy in the long run. So for me, a double is the way to go. Double chain.
Yeah. Did you do anything else unique to your bike? We talked about the frame bags and the Redshift stuff that you changed around, the gearing, tires. What else did you do that was unique to set up your bike for this?
I ran the Redshift kitchen sink handlebar as well. It's this really funky looking handlebar that has a wide flare. And it doesn't have aero bars per se on it, but it does have it's a one-piece handlebar that flares out in the front. So it gives you a different hand position. So I think we counted something like 7 to 8 different hand positions on that particular handlebar.
Oh, nice.
So it really just gives you the options. And if I could say one thing to anybody who wants to do these races where you're out there for anywhere from 4 hours and above, my opinion is always go for comfort. Don't necessarily think of weight, think of comfort, because inevitably comfort equals speed. And there's nothing worse than being out there and just being uncomfortable from the start. So that was really where I made the decision of, let's go with the suspension seat post, the suspension stem, and that Redshift kitchen sink handlebar. It looks different and it's rather untraditional, but yeah, like I said, comfort was at my forefront there.
If you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up.
If you didn't like this video, you can give it a thumbs down, but let us know what you would have done differently in the comments below.
If you want to see more of these videos, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to become a faster cyclist, check out TrainerRoad.com.
Do it.